Let's see if the stream works. I go live so seldomly these days. They update the thing, and I don't even know if the thing works. Um, yeah. Hold on a second. I think Reggie Parker might be right about some things. Um, yeah, man, and I want to talk about it. Let's see here. I got notifications coming up. Facebook just reminded me of a post that I made a few years ago. I stand by it even today. Sugar don't go on grits. Let's see. Oh, it's working. It's working. The description of the video of the live stream is wrong though, because I forgot to take a part out of it. It said something to the effect of talking shit on MLK Day. Today is obviously not MLK Day. But let me make sure the audio is working. I haven't done this in a while, so what's its face? Ecamm Live just did an update. They have changed some stuff around, so let me see if I can hear myself. They have changed some stuff around. Yep, I can hear myself. So here's what I think. First of all, I know the title of the video is Reggie Parker may be right on some stuff. I used to follow Reggie on Instagram, and it goes without saying that Reggie is one of the most prolific and dopest bass players of our generation. But I think that he has used his platform, his Instagram platform, which is his right. I think he's used his platform in a more negative way to sort of admonish younger musicians, and he spends more time. At least he did. I don't follow him anymore, but I think he spent more time admonishing younger musicians, about the things that they do on social media, blah blah blah, and just for me, I just felt like, come on, dude, you got a large platform, and you could use that to be a little bit more encouraging or whatever. But he's got some good points about some things, and um, it's something that I've been noticing a lot lately, and I don't want to sound like that guy, but man, as a guy who has spent a lot of time playing for a lot of different artists, um, and also playing a lot of like corporate and cover band stuff, um, there's value in knowing parts. There's real value in knowing parts. I There's value in stepping outside of what the original recording is, and being able to, kind of go left or right on, and be creative and expand on a tune. But also, you have to know the freaking parts. You know what I'm saying? You got to know the parts. Um, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating to say the very least. You need to have some semblance of what the part was. I've said it before. I'll say it again. one of the first things Zigaboo ever told me was, learn what George did, then do your own thing. You know, um, if you play, you know, you name a tune, name any tune, you can play. You could play the right chords on, Brick House, but if you're not playing boom, 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 it's not Brick House. If you play, think of anything, man. If it's not the part, it ain't the part. You know, and the part is what keeps people on the dance floor. I just noticed, man, this poor thing been getting worked. Look at that. That's what they call belt rash, friends. Um, I want to say more about that, but what I don't want to do is, I've been reflecting on a lot of the content that I saw from Reggie Parker. Um, and I'll just say, and all with respect, a lot of it smacks of arrogance. I know I've said things that that can be considered a bit arrogant as well. I don't think that in his heart. I don't know what's in his heart, but I don't think that's his goal. I think his goal is to is to share a message that, like, the bass guitar is a foundational instrument. Yes, people have taken the bass guitar to many different levels or whatever, but a lot of the real masters of the fancy stuff are really groovers as well. Victor Wooten can play circles around most mortals, right? Most, if not all, mortal. Uh, Vin Rock, blessings to you from the Big Easy. Um, that's Papa was Rolling Stone, right? It's always going to be that bass line. It's not a complicated bass line, and there's room to do all kinds of stuff with that, right? But, um, you know, that's all I wanted to say about that. I think I'm gonna put my in-ears in, because I want to show you something. This is what really came to mind this morning. Is I'm playing a gig this weekend, and there's a song by Chuck Brown that I have only played one other time. It's a funky, 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 funky tune. Let's see if I can do this. Whoops, take those out. Put those in. All right. Let me know in the chat if you guys can still hear me. Let's see. Sundays, man. Let's see. I gotta check the Facebook feed and make sure the audio is still working. Clark Sims. Man, I'm so proud of Clark Sims. Every time I see Clark on a live stream, man, I'm just so incredibly proud of who he has become as a bass player and who he is as a person. But Clark is a prime example of a guy who will come in and can funk just out of anybody's ear hole, man, and just tear you up. And but he can and will hold down like solid bass lines. I think three of the worst things to happen to music and musicians, send the hate mail down in the comments. gospel chops, social media, and that stupid ass meme that goes around talking about the stank face is the highest compliment that you can get from another musician. Why do I are those things in and of themselves bad? No. But I have played with so many cats in the last year. This ain't got nothing to do with me liking them or anything like that. It has nothing to do with them being competent musicians or anything like that. I've either played or seen, observed, and I'm like, you are playing not for the music, but for recognition. You're playing because you want somebody to give you that face. You're playing because you want someone to say, give you an accolade, a pat on the back, or something like that. And the music suffers, man. The music suffers from that. The other musicians who are really just trying to get through the gig are suffering from that. You know, it makes it painful. Makes a long night even longer. And a place like New Orleans is interesting to me. It's a beautiful situation where you can play as much or as little as you want. Really, if you can play as much or as little as you want. I think if you've got the other tools to make that happen, right? But let's say you're on a Bourbon Street gig or a Frenchman gig and you are highly competent, highly skilled musician. When, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, when people are in a city like New Orleans, any band will do. Any band will do. They're here, they're having an experience, right? A lot of times people are drunk or high or whatever. So their applause necessarily is not like a gauge of how skilled you are, or how killing the music is. Now as I sit here and essentially complain about it, that's also the nature of the beast. That's just the nature of the town that we're in. No big deal. But I know if I'm on a gig, and I can always tell when the bass players come in. Or I can always tell when the musicians come in, but particularly the bass players, right? You can always tell who plays on some level the instrument that they are fixated on, right? People will definitely do that. But if they say good things, hey, hey, thanks a lot, whatever. But my head is not all of a sudden like, oh, I'm the shit because, Bob from Montana said I was killing. You know what I mean? Anthony Wellington told me something one time. Anthony, when I took a few lessons from Anthony Wellington, he said it'd be like you take an hour lesson, and the whole lesson was good, but then there'd be like 5 or 10 minutes of just like some sage shit, right? And he said one time, birds sing. They don't give a shit if you tell them they doing a good job or not. They're gonna sing their song regardless. They're not in it for that. They just do what they do. But let's talk about playing a 5-string. Why I tend to play a 5-string. Also, another topic of conversation that has come up recently is instruments, the idea of instruments. I play a Marco 5 string most of the time. It is built on the order of a Fender jazz bass. I've got a 4 string Marco that is built to the order of a jazz bass with with its own little nuances or whatever. But I also own a Fender P bass. I was just doing remote sessions with this yesterday. I don't have a ton of basses. That bass behind me, that acoustic bass, never play it. The Mike Lull back there has been retired. The guitar, damn sure don't play that. And the T40 is too heavy to ever do anything with, but have it on your lap. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because, like, even though I don't have a ton of basses, in the span of what I have done as a bass player, having a 5 string jazz bass will let me do 98% of what I need to do on a gig, on a pickup gig, whatever. And nowadays, that's what I do most of the time. I do, somebody calls, I need a bass player for this weekend, whatever. And this will do most of the stuff. But why a 5 string? Why a 5 string and not a 4 string? And this is another one of those things where I think where I've heard Reggie Parker kind of go in deep. I think a lot of things depend. It depends on what you're doing, what the job is, right? There's sometimes where having a 4 string is absolutely 100% appropriate, and then there's times where it's just more convenient. Like I look at the B string as a sort of an insurance policy. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Here's where YouTube is going to get pissed off at me. YouTube and Facebook. So this Saturday we're playing a song called Playing with Ari Title from the Rumble. And some other cats. I think Nigel Hall is on the gig. I've never played with Nigel, so I'm excited about that. Brad Walker. I think I might have played with Brad Walker one time, but incredible sax player. In this song, If It Ain't Funky by Chuck Brown and the Soul Searchers on the same album as Bustin' Loose, is in the key of E flat. Now, we know that 5 string basses were not in vogue during that time. I don't think they were. I don't think people were playing, 5 string basses during that time. So, but the stuff that is being played here is a lot of open string thumping, right? I'm going to go do this gig after coming from another gig, right? I'm not going to bring 2 bass guitars. And also, it is wildly inconvenient for me to retune a 5 string out of standard tuning into a half step lower in the middle of a set for various reasons. One, there's dead time on the stage. I don't do it that quick. I mean, I know some guys that can. I don't do it that quick to be able to get the tuning and then get back into, whatever. It's not a situation where you got a lot of where you want dead time or, whatever on stage. So one guy can retune. But let me let you hear the song. Like I said, I've only played it the one time, and I don't remember it at all. So, there's that that low E flat. Now, if I tune down a half step, ah, I'd be able to play that low E. But I texted Ari a little while ago. I said, "Are you playing this in E or E flat?" He responded, E flat, so his original key. So just having that low B flat, having that low B just says it doesn't feel the same. I don't I don't love the way that low B sounds. And that's not even the part really. Oof. But you feel what I'm saying? It just seems it just I don't know. Just easier to have the low B string there. Let me check these comments real quick. I see some comments. Steiner 3 says I'm an old dog and can't learn a new trick. I don't think you should take that attitude, brother. Blessings, my brother. It seems like a lot of music uses the B string. I mean, hey, listen, a lot of new music uses the low B. They'll use key bass. I mean, if I were a bass player in my late teens, early 20s, whatever, if I was really like going for it, and I was in New York or LA or Nashville, and I was really trying to get into the pop scene. Oh, Venrock says you didn't hear the song. Sorry. Good, because YouTube would get mad at me. I would also be investing in Keybase. I would be shedding Keybase. Because the cats that are really, 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 really out there working on like going, on the big tours and all that stuff, and cats are playing Keybase also, because that's where the music is now. That's where it is now. Granted, a lot of the music that I think we know and love and has become hits are, was made on 4-string basses, but yeah, 4, 5, 6, whatever gets the job done, and it's appropriate for the music. Never worry about yeah, be true to the music. Be true to the music. Venrock, if I play this song right now, let me see if you can hear this. Let's see. 5-string, or maybe a 4-string during the recording, tuned down a half step. I don't do the half step thing. The recording tuned down a half step. Kurt Crumpler is also on here. Kurt Crumpler is Kurt Crumpler is another cat that's like a Bay Area cat that has played on. He has played on so much stuff. Oh my god! And he's like in the cuts, man. A lot. He's a name that if you're serious about bass, Kurt Crumpler. As a matter of fact, I did a thing for No Trouble a few years ago. Everybody was talking about was it Uptown Funk? Uptown Funk, and what Uptown Funk was kind of biting off of. And there was a track, I think the name of the track was Young Girls or something like that. Um, which today in today's language, the title of that tune is a little, but that was the closest thing. And I had done like the side by side transcription and all that, but that was Kurt Crumpler on bass. Anyway, um, so there's all that language, all that like typical '70s funk, you know, all that stuff that would have been, that would be easier to execute on a 4-string bass, but here's where we are. And it also sounds like to me there's a synth thing happening, like a Moog thing happening, and then a bass thing happening. So also now I think, well, where do I pick my spots? What am I physically able to do? Again, there's the interest of the time. How much time do I have to like get this tune back under my fingers? And how exact am I going to play it? It's not a situation where I play it exactly, but I have to have some semblance of that line, right? Keyboard player may play the low E flat. I'm tired. So now there's a challenge. If that were a low E, I'd just be able to hit the low E. And then I'm, I don't give a shit about showing, the me screwing up. And I decide what's going to be easier for me to get that. Not easier, but what's going to be more efficient. Do I pluck thumb hammer or use two plugs? And I may do a combination of the two as I get back inside the tune. Check these comments again. Were you guys able to hear the song then? I sure hope you were, because if you weren't, then it means that everything. Let me see. Let's see. This is me listening to me, right? Let's see if I. Okay, you can. That's weird. It's like a vortex. So yeah, let's see. Okay. So I'm here. I am tongue tied, hand tied. Uh. Shit. And this morning, I don't know if you check. I did a post on Instagram earlier today. I was talking about taking a groove and making it like a meditation, right? One thing over and over and over again. Thinking about, just doing the same thing over and over and over again. Because that is the groove. Even if I mess up, I want to have that so ingrained that I can get back into it, right? But if I play anything other than, back to my point originally, if I don't play that thing, then it ain't the tune. It's not the tune. It's not the tune. Hey, there's this part. I know there's this part coming up in this tune that is sick. Let's see. I know I gotta share it because it's hard. If it ain't funky, don't you know we can't use it now? Come on. Okay. It's coming back to me. I've played this before. If it ain't funky, don't you know we can't use it now? There it is. It's not called being in tune, but who cares? If it ain't funky, don't you know we can't use it now? Got to jump back to the low E, flat. That's the first half of it. So I think it's happening twice. If it ain't funky, don't you know we can't use it now? Now, what I will do, what I suggest, because I've been asked, right, about how do you cop a part, like any part, and I'm not a fast player by any means, so I need these types of techniques. I also saw that Aaron Shaw Um, I also see that Aaron Shaw is on here. Aaron Shaw is a bass homie, a friend, good friend out of the Bay Area. I'm just rambling. I'm just talk now. Aaron helped me a lot in college with my recitals and things like that because I was not an upright player. Aaron is a fantastic upright player, and playing recital pieces, him and Pat Clovis, like how do you get up to the speed, right? So I take metronome. To practice with a metronome is it's like a lost thing. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find out. If it ain't funky, don't you know we can't use it now? See, first of all, I want to know what is the tempo I need to get at. So I'm gonna say this is 109, 110, somewhere around that, but I can't play it that fast yet, right? So let's bring it down. I'm like excruciatingly slow. It's a 90, right? Ah. So I played it a few times at 90, right? I don't know why I got so excited just now. Also is the subject of planning. Today is Sunday. The rehearsal, not the gig, the rehearsal is Friday. So what are you ready for? You're not ready for the gig, you're ready for the rehearsal. Not ready for the gig, you're ready for the rehearsal. You're not ready for the gig, you're ready for the rehearsal. Got to be ready for the rehearsal, right? So if I know that I can do that at about 90 BPM consistently, then the next time I hit that, I want to be no slower than 95, right? If I'm in a regular practice session, practicing by myself, I may even want to automate the metronome to where it will play, 30 bars, whatever, or play for a certain amount of time and then speed up over time. I want to see if I could get to 110, 109, 110, and then if I can do it consistently at 110, because of the nature of live music, I want to then speed that up. I don't want to just practice it at 110. I want to speed it up to 115, 120 even, right? So that in the off chance that it is excruciatingly fast, I can hang on just a little bit. If anybody in the Bay Area has ever played an Anthony Ant jam session on Thursday nights at the Starry Plow, you know exactly what I'm talking about, where Anthony would send like some hard ass shit and then be like, yeah, we're gonna play that. You have no rehearsals or whatever, and then he will call it at the most insane tempos. We was playing something, I can't remember the song. It was some Jeff Lorber tune, and I was just like, Ant, you gonna get what you gonna get, and you will not be upset about it either. But this is 100. I don't know if you guys can hear the metronome, but trust me, it's on. Let's see. Coffee time with Ted. Cheers from Cleveland. Excellent is in church, as you should be, sir. One of these days I'm going to start. But I got church in the morning. Ah. Ah. I may just do that. Ah, shit. Didn't mean to say that. Ah. Ah. So that's 100. Again, this won't be the only day that I practice it, right? I'll practice it more before the thing. But it's about getting it in my head. There's the part that's killing me, right? I may sit down and watch this Chris Rock, get a replay of this Chris Rock special, and just 3, 4. I wish they played it in E. Because it would be easier to just hit that low E. But they want to play it in E flat, so. So anyway, that's a long way of getting my point across about having a 5-string. And besides, I haven't seen you guys in a long time. But yeah, I'll round it back off with the thing that about Reggie Parker. And I never talk shit about other cats, and this is not about talk. Again, I started off by saying I stand by it that Reggie Parker is one of the dopest bass players of our generation. I just wish he spent more time on his platform encouraging versus discouraging what I think could sound like discouraging players. Now, but listen, we all can use correction. We all can use correction. We can all use a guidance, right? And sometimes you have to say things, right? I think we're getting to this point, man, where like the art and craft of live music, of playing live music, particularly for long periods of time. Um, I'm trying to temper my words because there are a lot of really fantastic young musicians who really get how to do that. Um, it's no secret. I play on Bourbon Street a lot. Um, I enjoy it, but it's that those things are not like gigs. They're like a shift at a job. And it's not a place where you like are gaining fans or anything like that. You're just working. You're just working. You're putting on your overalls and your hard hat and you're just working. That's all it is. You're standing for long periods of time. You got to figure out how you're gonna get your hydration on, and you know, you gotta like have a bunch of tunes in your bag for folks to call and stuff like that. Um, I say it with respect, but it is something that I feel like needs to be said. I see too many cats come on those types of things, and it's like, man, you play great, you sound great, your tone is great, all that, you play great, but that ain't the tune. That ain't the song. You know, and like if you can play like some real clever shit on a tune, I love it. If you can step out of the tune, great. I love it. But if you can't play the tune as it was written, then it's like, it's so important. It's so important. It's so important. Um, and I'm starting to feel like maybe I'm getting to be like one of those old dudes that just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna be dead soon. I should just say what I want to say. I don't know. I don't know. Um, I ain't the best at nothing but being me. That's it. But there's some things that Reggie Parker has some good points about. He definitely has some good points about. Maybe shouldn't spend so much time saying them, but that's another story. Maybe I shouldn't spend so much time saying them, you know? Um, but yeah, man, if you're, when I say, I don't want to say young musician, like being young is a bad thing. It's certainly not. God damn it, I remember those days. Um, or if you're just trying to get out into a scene, you know, the gig is not practice time. It's not shed time. It is a place where you certainly can shed and get some ideas out and some new things and experiment and step on the wire and walk on the tightrope. It certainly is. Certainly is. But, you know some tunes, man. Play some parts. Play some grooves, You know, drummer, stay off that goddamn ride cymbal. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to practicing and maybe even maybe even get a nap. Anyway, I appreciate Ven Rock. Have a great day. Appreciate you guys watching, and as always, man, peace. Two fingers.